Oh, missed the chair. Okay, well, obviously a big game this week playing Nevada. Hell of a football team. One of the probably the best offense in the conference. 3 players playing a Senior Bowl. Tremendous quarterback, tremendous receiver, tremendous tight end, very outstanding running back. A veteran team. Defensively, outstanding players. Their nose tackle, Don Peterson, and their linebacker, Henley, and their middle backer, Hall. I mean, outstanding players, very productive. Really great football team. I've watched them play several times on TV, and obviously I've been studying the tape, and I'm just think this is a veteran football team with legitimate, pro athletes on the field, and a hell of a challenge for us here at home. We're looking forward to it. Our guys, we had a workout today, and it's been a long few days, but I thought they responded well today. Good look in their eye. So we're excited for the game.
How awake were you guys as coaches in the office on Sunday as you had to get back into your normal weekly routine?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. I'm not going to tell you that wasn't hard. Landing at 12:30 and coming right to work and working through the day was difficult. It's exhausting today. I feel like I got over the flu. Now I got a cold again. It's just the way it is. But excited for the week. Our team's tired, but each day they'll feel better. I think the team had a pretty good steel resolve after our game. Obviously, we're deeply disappointed, as we talked about. But when you watch the film, there's a lot of mistakes and corrections that have to be made, and that's our biggest problem. But you're talking about 651 yards of offense. Talking about 10 yards shy of the all-time passing yards record in a single game. And, we're talking about a bunch of TFLs on defense. We missed a lot of sack opportunities. We saw a lot of positive things. I think we all realize that we've got to play more consistently and with less mistakes. But the resolve to go win and to fight through the end of that game, especially there, I felt like I was in the twilight zone, and that was impressive. And so we just keep building, and that's the mindset of our staff and of our team. And we're excited about where we're headed. So we'll have a good week.
I was going to say, when you watch your players in practice, they still look like they're getting out some jet lag, and you expect to see less of that as it goes on.
Yeah, today was kind of a run-through day, stretch day, run-through. We watched the tape together, went through all the stats of the game, and had a lift, and didn't overdo any practice. It was very light out there, but the experts in that field say that's what you need to do, though. To sort of get the jet lag out of you a little bit and break a sweat, and that'll help us have a better day tomorrow. So, but they were great out there today. It was a beautiful day, and we got started on Nevada, which was good.
You said at the beginning of the year, you guys have said you felt you had the best defensive line in the conference. Mm-hmm. Chuck Heater even admitted if anybody had an argument, it would be Nevada. What do you like about the way that defensive line plays, and how is that going to challenge you in coming off a week where you just had 651 yards of total offense?
Well, I feel that, obviously we've had some struggles on defense in the last few weeks. And, not to keep talking about the same thing, but, we've had we haven't had any linebackers to practice with for weeks. Now, we played a couple of guys on Saturday night, but they had not practiced and are not really close to where they need to be right now. So we made some progress that we got them on the field, but we're not where we were, and that's a fact. So hopefully maybe we can start to rebite here this week health-wise. I'm hopeful. Having said that, though, I think we're playing the best offense in the conference, and they're going to challenge you in every way. So I hope we're healthy. We want to play our best game. That's really, we talked about it today. And offensively we put a lot of numbers up on Saturday, but we didn't play our best game. We put a lot of numbers up. We had 3 turnovers, 1 for a touchdown. That's a little uncharacteristic, but that happened amongst all of that. So it was 50-45, but the offense gave away 7 of those. But a lot of good things happened. I think in bits and pieces we're not seeing of not just what we're capable of, but where we're headed. But the consistency factor is a legitimate concern. And I think that, I've looked at it a lot of ways, and I just think it has a lot to do with, we have a lot of guys that we have some guys that have played a lot of football, but not a lot of guys that play a lot of football, and certainly not in this system. And I just think that that's something that is going to take a little time, and I think we're going to see a big improvement in consistency as we move forward. So I'm excited for that.
But their defensive line is really good. What's the challenge for your offensive line to keep Toddy upright? Because they've got a pretty potent pass rush as well.
Yeah, we've faced a lot. They are a very good defense. We've faced a lot of good defenses. One thing I know, we've faced a lot of good defenses this year. And this is another one of those defenses. So it's not new for us. I think their nose tackle, Don Peterson's one of the better players in the conference. I think he's a strong, disruptive guy, and I mentioned 2 linebackers that I think are outstanding. I think they're really good players. They're Then I look over here at their offensive line. They got a bunch of starts, and they got 3 seniors in there. This is a veteran team. They're averaging 35 points a game. It's not hard to figure out why. That quarterback's outstanding. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. So, and I just think Jay's done a great job. He's in his 5th season there. And it looks like it. To be honest with you, it looks like it. He's done a hell of a job. He's in his 5th season. He's got a veteran team. He got this transfer quarterback in here, and he's talented as hell, and they're putting him in a good position to succeed, and they're doing a great job with that program, and they're hitting their stride right now.
What is it that stands out to you about Strong and the way he guides that offense that makes them so effective?
He's tough as hell just watching him. He gets whacked a fair amount, but he is tough. He's resilient. He throws the ball extremely accurately. He's a big, physical-looking guy. He looks like he has a lot of confidence. He carries himself really well. I'm very impressed with him. And they've got these tight end, 2 receivers. They make plays. They make plays. They made some great plays against Air Force. That was an unbelievable game. I thought Air Force was going to sort of take off a little bit at one point, but not so fast, And they got after the quarterback, but he made some unbelievable throws. Those guys, you can just tell they're ballers. They got some ballers. So that's a real challenge. That's a real challenge right there.
This being Thanksgiving week, do you do anything special with the team in terms of a team dinner on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
What are those plans?
Yep. Wednesday we'll have a team a real Thanksgiving dinner, late afternoon, early evening dinner with the team. We're going to adjust the schedule to maximize that time. And then on Thursday morning, I like to get done really early so that if they want to go to a coach's house or go to a teammate who lives in the area's home, we can get them out of here by 10 a.m. so that they can go do that. I think that's really, really important in our schedule. We're a morning operation anyway, so we can make all that happen. So I think if there's a chance to be around family and friends, I think that's important. So we'll celebrate as a team and then give them ample time to celebrate with their family/friends and still have a good mindset and all the preparation we need for this game.
Steve, you guys hit a ton of explosive plays against Hawaii. Kind of going back and rewatching the film, did you see something that you feel like is replicable? I know you've hit explosive plays at times throughout the season, but it seems like this was kind of the highest volume in one game.
Yeah, we had a lot. Well, I think what happened, Justin, is that the style of defense they were playing, we went out in the first half. We knew they'd be some pressure, but to see the quantity of pressure that was coming. We tried to adjust to it in halftime, but we went in at halftime and really felt like we had some concepts that we could exploit that pressure. And I think that's why you saw a lot of those big plays in the throw game, because, I mean, you're going to come after us. You're going to get vulnerable in the back end, and that's kind of what happened. We have hit a lot of explosives all year. That's not really been our issue, but we hit more, and we got behind people for bigger throws, which is probably a byproduct of a lot of the style of defense they were playing. I was happy to see that. I was really, really happy to see us be able to connect and make those plays. And, of course, Dante seemed to be back at full strength, which helped us. And Ty McCullough really seems to be coming into his own. He's really developing as a young guy. So those things were fun to see, but had a lot to do with the style of defense that we encountered in the first half and finding our way where we wanted to ultimately find our way, which is pretty typical of a game. You have a plan of attack, and then you sort of have to. You're trying. It doesn't always work. You're trying to adjust to what you see, and sometimes you can connect on those things, and sometimes you don't. So we had 651 yards of offense, and we had 100 yards worth of penalties, not on offense, but collectively as a team. And we turned the ball over 3 times, one of which was for a touchdown. So. Just imagine if we could have played a little cleaner, what that might have looked like, and that's what we're striving for. So we've seen, we're a 3-win team that's on the road in Hawaii playing in twilight night, and we were able to do that and come back from a deficit and fight and scratch and battle the way we did. I think it tells you everything you need to know about the mindset of this team right now, and where we are and what we're building for. As I said to the team, our record looks like we're that far away, but if you watch our tape, we're about that far away, and they know it. That's the thing about players; they know it, and we're just inches away from being in a completely different position right now. Not feet and yards, but inches, and but we're not there, but extremely attainable, and a few plays here and there, and this is a totally different season right now. But, that's, you are what you are, and we're not there yet. But it's very attainable.
You had a lot of good things to say about Jack Howell over the course of the season. He obviously had 11 solo tackles in the full and Mountain West Freshman of the Week. Where have you seen him grow the most over the course of this year?
I mean, he's a ball guy. I mean, I've seen him in all phases. He's just steadily grew, and I think he's on a tremendous course right now to be a hell of a football player, and he's kind of a ball guy. I mean, he makes plays. Some guys, they kind of can make plays. He makes plays, and he's got a knack for it, Those guys are fun to be around, You kind of coach them up, and they. Listen, he's still growing. I mean, we're young back there. When you process him and Robert Floyd, those are 2 young guys, but you can tell that they're going to be really good football players. Right now, we're young in the back end, and that pops up at times. But you love where they are and their growth and their football IQ and where they're going to be. I mean, it's tremendous.
Go ahead, Joel.
Oh, I was just going to piggyback on Justin's first question, Coach, where, obviously you did hit some explosive plays. But this team, the offense in particular, has really excelled when you're in desperation mode, when you're down points and you kind of have to abandon the run a little bit and start zipping the ball downfield. Is there a way to change tempo in the first half by mixing in some of that? Or what can you attribute that high level of execution that you see when you absolutely have to put up a lot of points in a short period of time, like Todd Centeio seems to do every time you need it?
I think it's a byproduct a little bit of how the game flow goes. You know what I mean? When you see us struggle a little bit sometimes in the first half, it's because people have overcommitted to stopping the run game. And then it gives us that opportunity sometimes to be able to attack them a different way. You know, and that's really what I see. And, you know, I mean, we throw the ball a fair amount around here. You know, we're looking at like, shoot, I forgot the numbers off the top of my head right now, but we were predominantly throwing the ball, even in the first half against Hawaii. We just threw a lot of nakeds and play actions at them early. And then we decided to get a little bit more back into the drop back game late. I mean, we're still in the drop back game on third down, or second and long sometimes. But, you know, I think we're just trying to adjust to sometimes when you see us when you feel like we're getting stymied, and that's happened, it's because of the amount of pressure we're receiving, you know, and it's opening up the throw game. And the other piece of this is we're finally getting Dante back too, healthy. We didn't have Dante, you know, for a big stretch of time. And then, of course, I think you're also watching Toddy's growth and development right now. I think early on, we wanted to protect Toddy a little bit too. I mean, Toddy hadn't played a lot of football now. And so, you know, now what you're seeing is a quarterback who's played a lot more football, and each week is gaining confidence, and I think is understanding, you know, our throw game at a higher level, so we have more confidence, and I think some of that's in there. I don't think it's all of. I think it's a good question. I don't think it's all of one thing. I think it's a collection of a bunch of things. So I think, you know, you could say, well, do you want to just start, you know, opening it up and throwing it more early in the game? We throw it a fair amount, but we throw it a lot in play action off of our runs. And our goal, if you had to say what's our goal, we want to be a 50-50 balanced team. That's our goal ultimately. If you said, what are you striving for? That's what we're striving for. You know, I know you can't win a championship just chucking the ball all over the place. You got to be able to run it. If you don't hang in there with the run, you'll never run it. That's the thing that's hard sometimes for people to understand, that you got to hang in there with the run to be able to run it. And otherwise you're giving up on that run. And I think, you know, it's hard. Like, you know, I mean, Nevada is I think a tremendous throwing team, you know, but it's hard to win a championship that way, you know, in my opinion. Now, some people might have a different opinion, but I think the facts would bear that out accurately for me. You know, we try to utilize like our talent, you know, like Trey hit the 1,000-yard passing mark this past week. Trey's leading all tight ends and was up in the top 5 in receptions by any receiver, any position in the country. So we're getting him the ball in a lot of different ways: nakeds, play actions, dropbacks. You know, Ty McCullough is just coming into his own. Dante was out; he was hurt. So I think, you know, maybe that's a long way for me saying that we probably can gravitate to a little bit more drop back on early downs as we move forward. I could see that happening, you know. But in the same breath, we want to get David Bailey and Ajon Vivens going too. And David looked like, for the first time in a long time, he looked like his old self a little bit Saturday night. Now, we had that one turnover, which was a shame. But he started, you know, I saw some real acceleration in his runs, and I saw some real power in his runs. And then, of course, Ajon's not 100% healthy yet. You watch him run, he still gives us some nice burst, but he still has a little, if you watch him, a little hitch in his giddy-up. You know, you can see it. So he's not 100%. I would say he probably, you know, he'll be close to it this week, but unfortunately for a running back, both of them had bad injuries for running backs. High ankle sprains for running backs usually have a very negative impact on their season, and we had both starters ended up with high ankles this year. So, I don't know. You asked me a simple question. I gave you a pretty long, roundabout answer.
Thank you.
Obviously, you know, you're thankful that a lot of these veterans came back, guys like Patchett and Manny Jones, the McBrides, but in some respect, are you kind of excited to be able to move forward after this season and see more of these young guys get out on the field?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, but I love these older guys, and I appreciate them so much. You know, we went through some turbulence, and those guys were extremely loyal, and they set a really good standard of work ethic. There wasn't a great one here. They set a great standard for work ethic, on how to take tough coaching and how to grind. I mean, Toby and Patch and Manny and Trey, those guys, they really put those building bricks in place for us. Because without that, wow. I mean, there was a long way to go, guys. That's all I'm going to tell you. A long way to go. I mean, looking back at the roster, some 35 scholarship players out of here. These guys set the standard and put a whole new direction on Colorado State football. And so, I know it's frustrating for you, it's frustrating for me, it's frustrating for our fan base. Well, we got some good players, and we do, and how come we only have 3 wins? And because we're building this thing, we're building a foundation and a strong program, and that program will bear fruit and will produce. And it's really been a year and a half, and that's really the state affairs of where we were. And because of those guys that you're mentioning right now, I think they've accelerated putting our program in line to where it really needs to be and where it really needs to go. So I love them, and I'm indebted to them, and I would miss them greatly. And yes, we have some outstanding young players, and they've had the great benefit now of watching how those guys acted. And so it's going to help us now greatly moving forward. And we're all impatient, starting with me. But like I said, it's not like this. It's like this. And to be sitting at 6 or 7 wins is like this. So that can frustrate you, and it should, and it does, and it's my responsibility. But it doesn't dull my enthusiasm, because I know that gap's going to close and that fruit's going to get on those vines, and we're going to roll. And now we're going to miss a couple of really good players. That's a fact. Some real production. But we've got some guys in those positions that we're not going to drop off with. We're going to have great production. And we'll be enhanced in some other areas. And, once recruiting kicks into high gear, it's been in gear, but now you get on the road, and now that whole transfer portal thing and everything starts to open back up, and there'll be opportunities, and we'll be able to fill some voids that we have, and keep building and repairing that roster, and thank God for that, to do that, because that's really a big part of this whole thing right now. Bringing in the right young guys, and then bringing in the right older guys that we can meld together, and then utilizing and finding the very, very best developmental players that we can go out and recruit in the state of Colorado to keep building that young base and that pride in their state university, which I think is something that was very voided here. And I think we're trying to really work at bringing that back. And I think in the new times we're in, it's that combination of effort that we're going to get our team back real whole again. And I'm excited about it. So I'm looking forward to it. I wish we had the 2 weeks of bowl prep, so we'd have 2 more weeks with these young guys. We did a bunch of young guy work out here today, and it was a lot of fun to watch them all get those reps. So, and we're going to have a great off season. So the attitude is really high and really good. So we're excited about. I want to grow again this week. I'd like to see us play at a high level with less mistakes, higher execution, and realize that, we're going to have a great challenge on our defense, no doubt about that. And our defense hopefully can get back and gel back together again and gain some of that confidence that we obviously have lost a little of, and play a super great game here on Saturday, which will be a lot of fun.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, guys.